The fluorescent lights of Sterling Tech's executive floor buzzed with their usual indifference as Marcus Williams pushed his cleaning cart down the marble hallway at 11:47 p.m. His shoulders ached from the double shift, but he couldn't afford to slow down. Not with Lily's winter coat wearing thin and her birthday approaching. The single father had learned long ago that exhaustion was just another word for love when you were raising a child alone. He hummed quietly as he worked, the same lullaby his late wife used to sing, when a sound pierced the building's after-hours silence. A child's scream, high-pitched, terrified, echoing from somewhere near the executive suites. Marcus dropped his mop and ran. Inside the glass-walled conference room, he found her. A little girl, maybe 4 years old, with tear-streaked cheeks and braided hair coming undone, standing on a chair and pointing at the corner where a large spider had made its evening appearance. Her screams filled the space like a siren. "Hey, it's okay," Marcus said softly, approaching with his palms up. "I'm Marcus. I'm here to help." But the girl only screamed louder, her face reddening as she gulped for air between wails. Marcus looked around frantically. Where were her parents? Who leaves a child alone in an office building this late? Then he noticed the woman in the adjacent office, silhouetted against the glow of multiple computer screens. She was on what appeared to be an intense video call, her back to the conference room, hand gestures animated and urgent. The glass walls were soundproofed. She had no idea her daughter was falling apart just 30 feet away. Marcus knew he should knock on that door, alert the mother, let her handle it. But the girl's hysteria was escalating, her breathing becoming ragged. He'd seen this before with Lily during her worst nightmares. The child was working herself into a full panic attack. Without thinking, Marcus stepped between the girl and the spider, blocking her view. He grabbed a piece of paper from the conference table and positioned himself near the wall where a desk lamp cast a bright circle of light. His hands went up, fingers interlocking in a shape he'd practiced 1,000 times at home. "Look," he said gently. "Look at the wall." Through her tears, the little girl's eyes flickered to the shadow on the white wall. A butterfly. Marcus's hands fluttered, and the shadow butterfly danced across the surface, wings opening and closing in graceful rhythm. The screaming stopped, turned into hiccups. The girl stared, transfixed. "Her name is Hope," Marcus said softly, making the butterfly dip and soar. "She lives in a garden where flowers never die and it's always warm." He moved closer, and the shadow grew larger. But Hope was scared once, too. Scared of the dark, scared of bugs, scared of everything. What did she do? The little girl's voice was barely a whisper, raw from screaming. Marcus smiled. His hands shifted, transforming. Now a rabbit appeared on the wall, long ears twitching. She made a friend. "His name is Brave." And Brave told her a secret. "You know what it is?" The girl shook her head, climbing down from the chair, moving closer to the magical shadows. "The things we're scared of," Marcus said, "they're usually more scared of us. That spider over there. He's probably terrified right now, wondering if the giant people in this room are going to hurt him." "Really?" Her eyes were wide now, wonder replacing fear. "Really? Watch this." Marcus shifted again, creating a spider shadow with his hands. He made it scurry across the wall, then had the rabbit and butterfly shadows chase it away, off the edge of the light and into darkness. "See, your friends protected you. And now Mr. Spider knows this is your space." The girl giggled. Actually giggled. "Can you make more?" For the next 20 minutes, Marcus created an entire shadow puppet menagerie. A dog that wagged its tail. A bird that sang silent songs. An elephant that never forgot to be kind. He wove stories around each one, tales of courage and friendship that his wife had told Lily, stories he'd continued after she was gone, stories that had pulled his own daughter through her darkest moments of grief and fear. He didn't notice when the woman finished her call. Didn't see her stand and turn, hand on the door handle, ready to check on her daughter. Didn't know she'd frozen there, watching through the glass as a janitor in a worn uniform created magic for a child he didn't know. Victoria Chen, CEO of Sterling Tech, stood paralyzed. She'd left Emma in the conference room with an iPad and snacks for just 15 minutes while she took an emergency call with Tokyo investors. 15 minutes that had stretched to 45. She'd been so focused on saving a $30 million deal that she'd activated the soundproofing without thinking. And this stranger, this janitor, had saved her daughter from a terror Victoria hadn't even known was happening. She watched him create a shadow castle where all the animals lived together. Watched Emma's face glow with joy and imagination. Watched him glance at his watch twice but never rush, never cut the story short, never treat her daughter's happiness as an inconvenience. Victoria's throat tightened. When was the last time she'd done something like this with Emma? When had she last gotten down on her daughter's level, created wonder instead of scheduling it through tutors and enrichment programs? When had being a CEO completely eclipsed being a mom? Finally, Marcus created one last shadow, a heart, and placed it over Emma's shadow on the wall so they overlapped. "And that's how you keep the scary things away," he said. "You remember that you're brave, you're loved, and you're never really alone." "Thank you, Mr. Marcus," Emma said, then shocked him by wrapping her small arms around his legs in a fierce hug. That's when Victoria opened the door. Marcus jumped back, suddenly aware of how this looked. A strange man alone with a child in an after-hours office building. His heart hammered. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry, I heard her screaming and the spider was, I should have found you first, I just." "Stop," Victoria said quietly. She knelt beside Emma. "Baby, are you okay?" "Mommy." "Mr. Marcus made shadows and they chased the scary spider away and he told me about Hope the butterfly and I wasn't scared anymore and can he come to my birthday party?" Victoria looked up at Marcus, really looked at him. Saw the exhaustion around his eyes. The name tag that read, Marcus Williams, Evening Janitorial. The photograph sticking out of his shirt pocket, edges worn from handling, showing him with a little girl about Emma's age. "You have a daughter," she said. "Yes, ma'am, Lily. She's 5. Staying with my neighbor tonight while I work the late shift." He swallowed hard. "I'm sorry if I overstepped. I just couldn't let her suffer when I knew how to help." Victoria stood, and Marcus braced himself for the anger, maybe even a call to security. Instead, she extended her hand. "Thank you. Not just for calming her down, but for being present when I wasn't." The honesty in her voice surprised them both. Over the next hour, as Marcus finished his shift and Victoria finally packed up her work, they talked. She learned about his wife's death 2 years ago, how he'd taken the night janitorial job because it paid better and let him be home when Lily woke up in the mornings. How shadow puppets had become their special thing, their way of processing grief and fear together. He learned about her impossible schedule, the pressure of running a company that employed 8,000 people, and the guilt that gnawed at her constantly for the time she couldn't give Emma. "I'm not looking for pity or a handout," Marcus said as he prepared to leave. "I just want to do right by my daughter." "I know," Victoria said. "But would you consider something? Our employee assistance program needs a family coordinator. Someone who understands what working parents struggle with, who can design programs that actually help. It's day shift, better pay, full benefits. You'd have to get your GED first, we'd pay for it, but I think you'd be exceptional at it." Marcus stared at her. "Why would you do this?" "Because you saw my daughter as a person worthy of your time and creativity when you had every reason to just find me and move on. Because the way you showed up tonight is exactly how I want everyone in this company to show up for each other. And because," her voice softened, "you reminded me what really matters." 6 months later, Marcus stood in Sterling Tech's new Family Resource Center, watching Lily and Emma build a blanket fort together while their shadow puppet theater waited nearby. He'd gotten his GED, led 3 company initiatives for working parents, and just helped launch an on-site daycare program. But the best part happened every evening at 6 p.m. when he left work, picked up Lily, and made it home in time for dinner. Victoria often left at the same time now, her restructured schedule allowing her to actually put Emma to bed most nights. They'd both learned something that night in the conference room. Sometimes the most important work we do has nothing to do with our job titles. Sometimes kindness is the only qualification that matters. And sometimes the people who seem to have the least to give end up offering exactly what we need most. A reminder of our own humanity, reflected back at us through shadows on a wall and the wide eyes of a child who just needed someone to see her fear and transform it into wonder. The screaming had stopped long ago. But the echoes of that kindness would ripple forward, changing lives in ways both large and small, for years to come.